Hi, for those of us that are opening the restaurants as a new business owner, or you already have a restaurant and then you'll be wondering, how do you design a menu? Now, if you're building a restaurant from scratch, menu design is very important and it has to come very early in the process because your menu design will determine the kind and the number of Bain that you're going to buy. And of course, a lot of other things that is affected by your menu. Even the back of house equipment, what you're going to be needing in the kitchen, are going to be affected by the kind of menu that you'll be offering to your customers. If you are going to be cooking so much rice, then you need to focus on buying rice cooking equipment. If you're going to be doing lots of swallows, you need to focus on buying equipment that will make easy turnout of those meals possible for your workers. Today, we want to look at menu design. And so we've just given examples of, let's assume that these are the kind of menu, or this is the menu that you were looking at in the restaurant. Another thing I really need to tell you is that before you arrive at drawing up a list of the food that you want to sell, that you can see on my right hand, you need to do a few things. So one of the things you need to do is that you need to visit the restaurants in the entire neighborhood, or maybe like 5-kilometer radius to your restaurant. All the restaurants within 5-kilometer radius must be visited. What are you trying to look at for? Looking out for what they sell, their offerings, what sells the most in the beginning of the day, at peak periods, and at the close of business. What are the things that they sell? You want to ensure that those items makes it to your menu. You also want to consider a menu or an offering that is peculiar to you, something that is your signature meal, something that you designed and you're offering and you're trying to push. All these things are going to make your menu. And then of course, we're in Africa, you must also consider the cultural meal of the neighborhood. For example, if you're opening a restaurant in the north, you need to look at the possibility of selling things like tuwo and the rest of them. If you're opening a restaurant in the western part of Nigeria, definitely amala must be in your menu. These are the things that will determine what will be in this list. In the end, you have to drop this list. But now this list is not finite in itself. After you have this list, you now then translate it into the Bain sketch. This is the Bain sketch. Bain comes in 6 wells, 5 wells, 4 wells. This is a 6-well Bain. What does a 6-well Bain mean? It simply means that it's able to contain 6 numbers of pan 1 displays, 6 numbers of pan 1 size. This is pan 1. This is pan 1. If you count it, you're going to find that it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any restaurant you visit, that pan that spans from the back of the display to the front where you're standing, just one single pan, maybe you find rice inside or swallows inside, I don't know, depends on the restaurant. That one particular pan is called pan 1. Any Bain that is able to take 6 of that size of pan is a 6-well Bain. That's what I've done here. When you divide that pan 1 into 2, you have what we call pan 2. Half of pan 1 is what we call pan 2. 3 divided by pan 1 is what we call pan 3. How it has been designed that any size of pan that you want to use for pan 1 to pan 6, this Bain is designed to take a specific number of them so that there will be no space. What will determine the number of pans that you're not going to use, or the size of pan you're going to use, as I've drawn here, will be determined in the long run by how fast selling that particular items are. At the beginning, you can just look at the fact that, okay, for example, in Lagos State or any part of Nigeria, jollof rice is always something that people want to buy. Jollof rice, fried rice. So you can as well decide to use, again, like I've said, you would have studied the restaurants around and look at what is working for them. If you see that in all the restaurants that you sampled around, they sell jollof rice the most, definitely you know you need a pan 1 to display your jollof rice, because there's something our customers in restaurant business, when they come into your space and they see the volume and the way the food is displayed, it must be displayed attractively. It must show class, it must show texture, it must be colorful, it must be beautiful to see. And it must show that this thing is what everybody is buying. You provide a pan 1 for that. If the next closest item that sells very well after your jollof rice is your fried rice, you may want to use the same pan 1 for that, then you have another pan 1 beside it, and so on and so forth. If you come down here, in the end, you discover that even the jollof rice that you want to sell does not need a pan 1, actually needs a pan 2. You can use a pan 2. So a pan 2 will simply be half of the size of a pan 1. 2 of it will stay in the same space that a pan 1 would have taken. What you can find here is that 3 of a pan 3 will sit in the same space that a pan 1 would take. 4 would stay in the same space that a pan 1 would take. The smaller the pans, you are tending towards what you use to display things like proteins, beef, fish, chicken, and the rest of them. There are other sizes of pans like trays that they are not actually very deep. These pans always have a depth, about 150 mm and so on. But there are other ones that are a bit more shallow. Those are pans that you use to display snacks and the rest of them, maybe in a different Bain setup, or maybe in a specialized display that's called a snacks display. I hope you've learned something.
So since we've discussed how to design a menu using your Bain marines, whether it's 6-well, 5-well, 4-well, and so on, I want us to understand something at this point. For a restaurant owner, it's very important that you design your menu very early in the setup process, because this is what will affect the entire equipment you're going to need in your kitchen. If you're going to be having a lot of grills, you may know that you need maybe 1 or 2 ovens for grilling. If you're going to be doing pastries, this also determines the fact that you need ovens to bake. If you're doing, say, like a donut, that means you also need a deep fryer, which can be used for frying fish. I'm not saying use the same deep fryer for donut for fish. At the end of the day, that helps you determine, oh, I need 2 deep fryers, I need 1 oven or 2 ovens, I need 3 or 4 rice cookers because I have like 10 different rice meal in my menu. You can see that defining your menu very early in the business is very important. And this also affects the number of food displays you're going to need, whether it's a food warmer or snack display. If you're going to be needing cake, it also means that you're going to be needing a cake mixer and probably another oven to bake the cake. These are the things that will now determine how large your kitchen will be. And by the way, it's very important that you know your kitchen as it is cannot be laid out or designed by your regular architects. In fact, just the way fashion designers do a sketch of your dress and gives it to a tailor to sew, that's the exact same way a kitchen expert who may not be an architect can draft out your menu and your kitchen designs, your kitchen layout, and gives it to an architect who will then sit with the operations guys or you as a business owner and then begin to agree on what should be positioned where. And by the way, this is still not final. By the time you start executing your project on site, there's still a need for you to physically visit the site, and the builder explains what you're seeing in drawing in paper and biro to you physically. From our experience, we discovered that many clients do not really understand drawings to the point that they're able to picture what the physical reality will be on site. So as we build, this is why you have site meetings, maybe every 2 weeks, every month, depends on the duration of your project, where you review what has been done and they physically explain to you how the layout that you see in your drawing is going to work out, and then you're able to make comments, and if there's a need for adjustment to be made, this is done very early in the construction stage. Instead of allowing it to fester or stay there until it's close to opening, you've done all your tiling, you've done all your finishing work, and then you say, no, I didn't know this was going to be here. You start breaking, and then you're wasting money. There's cost overrun, there's time overrun. See you in the next video.